In our previous video, we went over some basic port security switch configuration. We talked about why it's important, why we should implement it into our networks, and what can happen if we don't. So today, let's do some review on port security. Port security enables a network engineer to configure a switch to allow only a specified number of MAC addresses on a switch ports in order to control what networks are allowed to connect to the company's network. How do you enable port security? As we both know, when you take a brand new switch out of the box, port security is disabled by default. In order to enable it, we must enter global configuration mode in the terminal of the switch, select which interface we want to enable port security on. Once we're in the interface configuration mode, we can type in a command that says switch port security. What happens when you enable port security? Enabling port security enables the default port security configuration on the switch. It will allow a maximum of one MAC address, and the violation mode is set to shutdown, meaning if we store one MAC address on the table and we connect a device to that switch port that does not match up with the MAC address the switch has in its memory, it will shut down the port, and I, the network engineer, has to go back to the switch and turn it on manually. If the default violation mode is shut down, what are some other options? A switch has 3 violation mode, and now that we know the default is shut down mode, that is 1. The second option is restrict mode. When you connect a device with a foreign MAC address to a restricted port, it will not shut the port down, but it will block the device from sending any traffic through the port, and for every attempt the device makes to send traffic, our switch will give us a notification that a foreign device is trying to violate our ports. The third option we have to protect our switch is protect mode. Protect mode is very similar to restrict mode in the sense that if we plug a device in with a foreign MAC address, the switch will block that device from sending traffic across our network. However, with restrict mode, we're getting notifications for every violation that comes through. With protect mode, anytime that foreign device is trying to send traffic, it gets blocked, but we don't get a notification like we do with restrict mode. So it's basically saying, just block all foreign devices, but don't notify me whenever someone tries to connect because I just don't care about them and they could just stay out of our network. So why and when would we change the maximum amount of MAC addresses that are allowed on a port? There are a number of factors that could come into play when choosing the right amount of MAC addresses on the ports. It could be different based on the manager, based on the department, based on the network design, and based on the overall policies of the company. However, I'll explain some good general practice. When it comes to production departments like engineering, accounting, business analysts, and project managers, we could be a bit more lenient with the maximum amount of MAC addresses. It's not uncommon for engineers to be running 2 high-end desktops for development softwares that require a lot of CPU power. On the other hand, with executives and VPs, we might only give them a maximum of 1 MAC address on their ports because normally in a company, we have a team called desktop support. Desktop support will take a flash drive, also known as a build stick, and plug it into computers to build computers for general use for most of the office. However, executives and VPs, generally speaking, have a different kind of build when it comes to the companies, so they get their own types of laptops. And since the desktop support team only gives them 1 laptop, they will only have a maximum amount of 1 MAC address on their ports because they shouldn't be plugging other devices into our network, only the one that we gave them to do their job specifically. So now we know a little bit more about port security than we did before. I hope this video has been interesting and helpful, and I will be doing a part 3 to this video where we're going to dive deeper into port security. So far we've hardly scratched the surface on this topic, but it gets much deeper and much more advanced than this. I'll see you guys on that part 3 video.